It's pretty much common knowledge that the body requires food to be able to function well. In the process of digestion, the food you eat goes through a number of processes which eventually end with energy being produced and used to go about the different activities you intend to participate in. However, this process of producing energy through food can be altered when you don't eat a sufficient amount of food, or even when you embark on a strict fast. Have you ever wondered what happens to your body during fasting? Well, the thing is, the human body and its entire system and process are rigged to cater for all forms of potential issues. And in the case of when you're fasting and have not had sufficient food to eat for hours and even days, your body works harder than normal. Though it surely gets to a point where it signals to you that it might just be time to eat something. In today's video, we'll be showing you exactly what happens if you eat nothing for 3 days. Do stay tuned and enjoy. Just like we mentioned earlier, the body needs energy for proper functioning, and one way through which it does that is through the food we eat. When we eat, our body digests the food by mixing it with fluids in the stomach. The food is then broken down, with carbohydrates breaking down into a type of sugar known as glucose. The stomach and small intestines absorb the glucose and then release it into the bloodstream, where it can be used immediately or stored to be used later. To do this, an organ known as the pancreas produces insulin, a hormone that controls the amount of glucose in the bloodstream at any given moment. It also helps to store glucose in your liver, fat, and muscles, while also regulating your body's metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Even though carbohydrates are a kind of food that gets mostly broken down into glucose, protein also plays a small role. Fats, however, are broken down into fatty acids, which also get used up in the body for a range of biological processes, one of which is testosterone production. When there's an excess of carbohydrates from the food you eat, it gets converted into glycogen, which is a stored form of glucose made up of many connected glucose molecules. When the body is in need of energy after a long period without getting energy from food, glycogen comes into play and is broken down to release glucose into the bloodstream to be used as fuel for the cells. Glycogen is mostly stored in the liver and muscles, and since only a part of the excess carbohydrate gets stored as glycogen, the other part gets converted into triglycerides and stored in your fat cells for which they'll be used. So generally, when your body runs out of enough energy or glucose from the food you've eaten, it relies on the excess it still has in the form of the stored variant so that you can keep going about your day without any issues. But now, what happens when your body is put through a situation where it doesn't get food for 3 days? Well, fasting comes with quite a number of benefits, almost regardless of the type you engage in. And usually, in the first few hours after you've started fasting, your body still tends to have enough glucose to help you function well. At the point when you approach the 6 to 10 hour mark, your body starts to run out of glucose circulating in your bloodstream. At that point, your body calls on the stored glycogen to aid in the release glucose to continue the normal energy production process in the body. Also, the pancreas then secretes a hormone known as glucagon. What glucagon does is that it signals your body to release glycogen and fatty acids. Glucagon works to counterbalance the actions of insulin, such that it signals your liver and muscle cells to convert stored glycogen into glucose. In a case where the last food you ate is not rich in carbohydrates, your body might have to turn to an alternative source of energy pretty earlier than expected. Ketones are vital in this case, and certain organs and tissues use them as a major source of energy during periods when glucose is not readily available. Even though they're not your regular energy source, ketones are primarily effective during fasting. During this same 6 to 10 hours of fast, you're likely to start feeling some usual symptoms associated with the lack of food. If you're the type that never skips a meal on a regular day, or maybe your dietary intake includes a lot of carbs, you might start to feel hungry and experience low energy levels as you approach 10 hours of fasting. There's no need to panic at this point because these symptoms are likely to be influenced by your circadian rhythms. Since your body is used to getting food regularly and eating a lot of carbs, it's only natural for your body to react to the lack of it, which is also why you might experience headaches as well. However, it should take you at least 2 hours after this for your body to get used to the process. At that point, your body will start to increase the levels of the human growth hormone, or HGH, which is usually concerned with regulating body composition, body fluids, sugar and metabolism, as well as muscle and bone growth. Several studies have shown that fasting can actually increase the HGH levels in the body at the same level as with exercise, stress, and very low blood sugar. As it's also associated with muscle growth, you should not be confused about what happens here with your muscles. Because of the lack of food and nutrients you'll get from them, HGH won't lead to any increase in muscle mass. Instead, what it'll do is to delay any breakdown or loss of muscle during fasting. This proves to be vital as you don't get to lose anything much from the hours you've already put into the fast, with research even showing that the levels of HGH produce increase as you keep fasting. And just 2 days of proper fast will increase the production of the hormones by 5 times the normal level. When you approach 12 to 16 hours of fasting, your body will still be relying on the stored glycogen, though it'll also increase its reliance on ketone bodies. At this point, you might start to feel cold, but remember that this is because your body has not digested food for a while. Research, which have studied the Muslim Ramadan fast, which actually lasts around 14 to 17 hours daily for a month, has shown that at this point there is considerable improvement in weight management, digestion, and cholesterol levels. To add to this, there will also be a decrease in inflammation. When you reach 16 to 18 hours of fasting, your body starts to break down every unnecessary material, including damaged proteins or dysfunctional cells, in a process known as autophagy. In this process, damaged components within a cell are broken down to then be reused so that the body can repair affected cells or set up building blocks for the formation of new cells. Several studies have also reported that during autophagy, burning of fat becomes increasingly possible because during fasting, your cells may begin to eat up body fat in order to gain the energy needed to function normally. And at this point, you'll have approached between 24 and 32 hours of fasting where you'd have used up all glycogen and then start relying on your stored fat. After 32 hours, more significant weight loss will be experienced because you'll start losing water from depleting carbohydrates and the loss of fat already being used as a source of energy. When you keep this up and reach the 3-day target or 72-hour mark, your body continues the process of autophagy and also reduction in inflammation. However, this is where whatever you do next must be based on medical recommendations or medical assistance because after 3 days, you'll experience more negatives than you've witnessed over the past days. Vitamin and mineral deficiencies start to set in, and then your muscle tissue starts breaking down gradually. It cannot be denied that fasting surely comes with many benefits, and pretty interestingly, the body is rigged to set itself up and run pretty well without food. However, the situation can quickly take a wrong turn when you exceed 3 days without medical supervision. Whatever you do, ensure you're not unnecessarily stressing yourself than your body can bear. Have you ever tried multi-day fasting? What benefits did you get over the course of the days fasted? Let us know in the comments section. If you also enjoyed the video, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, you should also check out the #1 cause of insulin resistance over age 40, 4 ways to fix it fast.